Welcome to GoVMlab, India's first job-ready VMware learning platform where professionals meet experts to revolutionize their VMware careers.
So now let's move on to the next topic of our discussion, where we are going to talk about NSX Manager key components and their functions. Right? Particular section, what we are going to talk about it, we are gonna go and we actually going to go a little bit more deeper into the NSX Manager appliance, and we'll see that what are the key services which are running inside that NSX Manager. For example, if you're coming from vSphere world, right, and when you really look inside your vCenter server, you would be seeing bunch of services running inside your vCenter server appliance. It could be your DB service, it could be your profile management, your policy-based storage service, it could be your SSO service, it could be your certificate service, right? So it could be your VPXD service. So there are many services which are running inside your vCenter server appliance also, and every service will have its own significance. On the similar lines, in this module, we are gonna go and look a little bit more deeper into NSX Manager, and we'll see that what are some of the key services about NSX Manager and what are their key functions. So with that, let's get started. So now this is the slide which actually go and talks about some of the key services of your NSX Manager. So if you really see that, there are several components are available in the NSX Manager virtual machine. Each component performs a specific task when it is installed and configured. So when you go and install NSX Manager appliance, it could be as easy for you to deploy any other VM. But from the functional perspective, the architectural perspective, there are many things which are running inside your NSX Manager appliance, same as your vCenter server. So as you could see that there are a couple of services like NSX MPA service, V2T migration coordinator, reverse proxy, we already talked about it. Then you have a platform client, nsx-t service through which you log into the NSX CLI, ops agent, upgrade agent, Proton service, we talked about it, UI service, which we have been keep talking about it, right? Upgrade coordinator for the upgrade related stuff, Kurfu DB is there, cluster bootstrap manager, node API management, phone home coordinator, async replicator, CCP, node CLI, right? So there are many services, key services which run inside this NSX Manager. Look at this compute manager service, right? So now let's go and talk about these services, some of the key services. So the very first service, what do we have it, is the SSH. I think we all know what is the whole use of SSH, right? So SSH is a cryptographic network protocol for operating network services securely over an unsecured network. So we all aware about that. Even if you want to log into the ESXi, you can log into ESXi using DCUI console, or you can log into ESXi using SSH, right? So SSH is a very standard protocol. What do we have it? So that is what the SSH service is all about it, right? The next service, what do we have it, is a reverse proxy. I think we talked about reverse proxy many times, right? So this is what the reverse proxy, it says that whenever a user logs into NSX Manager, the reverse proxy component is the main HTTPS endpoint where API enters and distributed all incoming calls among the NSX Manager component. So what it's saying that when you as a user, so this is the user can interact with the NSX Manager via UI or API. So as when you hit the URL, that request is actually going to reverse proxy, right? Which we talked about it. And then we have an authentication framework where if you have a Active Directory integration, workspace integration, that is where your SAML token OAuth integration will happen, right? But ultimately what is happening, as when your authentication successfully done and you have validated the user credentials, reverse proxy will take your request, and then the reverse proxy is the one which will be forwarding the request to the compute manager, right? For the vCenter registration. Or whenever you go and want through web UI of the NSX Manager, it might forward that request to UI service. Or if you're trying to log into a specific node, then it can forward that request to node API management. So you as an end user only talking to a specific service called reverse proxy over the port 443. But then this reverse proxy internally will go and forward your request to a respective component based on the instruction what you have defined it. And that is the whole ideation of reverse proxy. Now, if you want to know more about this service, you can always run this command get service HTTP. So there is nothing called reverse proxy service. As I keep saying that reverse proxy get mapped to HTTPS group, right? So you can run this command get service HTTP, and this particular service in the NSX Manager will give you information that whether this reverse proxy is running or not, and if any packet, how many connections are there, and all those things, right? And you can actually want to know which port it's running, then you can run this command netstat grep for port 443. So this is the port 443 where your reverse proxy service will be running. And you can see that the connection is established, right? Which means your reverse proxy service has already established a connection, I mean, it's a pretty much that port information, right? Which port it's running. So what we are interested into, we are very much interested into this particular port because that is where your reverse proxy service runs. If you want to inquire about the status of the service, so you would be aware about this command called etc init.d host the status in the vSphere world, right? This is the command we run, host the status. What is the host the status of my vSphere product, right? ESXi host. Similarly, on the similar lines, you have a proxy status command. So etc init.d proxy status. Proxy status means it will give you the status of reverse proxy service. What is the status of reverse proxy service? And there is a dedicated log file. Where log, you go to where log folder. Under proxy, there's a reverse-proxy.log file. So reverse-proxy.log file, you should be referring it whenever you find an issue with the reverse proxy or HTTPS service. So this is what I keep telling every professional, that if something is not working, don't try shooting bullet in the dark. If this issue is coming, where it should be coming from? It's a system, right? System is not a magic. If you understand the system, you know that if this issue is coming, I know that it might be coming from this particular service, and there's a dedicated log file. So I should be looking at that particular log file. And that is the whole objective of this particular module, that understand NSX manager, it could be appliance for you. vCenter server could be appliance for your perspective as a user. But from the VMware perspective, it has a bunch of things running inside into it. If something is not working, which means some services are having issues. And that is where I keep saying that look at the logs, which will help you to understand the problem and understand the system and architecture as well, right? So this is where the reverse proxy. So any issue coming from the HTTPS port group, right? Let's say you log in and run the command get cluster status and HTTPS group is unstable. So these are the few commands you should be running on it. 90% time your issue will solve here itself. Then
If you are preparing for nsx-t L3 admin, nsx-t consultant, nsx-t domain expert, or nsx-t solution engineer kind of profile, or if you are struggling to crack NSX interviews and want to prepare for NSX-t interviews for better career growth and career opportunities, or if you are preparing for VCP-NV or VCIX-NV kind of advanced certification, then we would strongly recommend you to join GoVMlab VMware NSX Zero to Hero Deep Dive program. Now, this is a very uniquely curated in-depth learning program about NSX-t networking and security capabilities. This program have received 5-star. This program have received 5-star rating from a lot of our careers. What this program have received 5-star rating from a lot of our learners, and none of our learners have ever failed in NSX-t interviews. And with this in-depth learning program, they have been successfully transitioned their career into VMware NSX-t technology with the Zero to Hero Deep Dive program provided by GoVMlab. Now, here are the key highlights of this program. As you could see that it's 80 plus hours of intense learning program. We do provide 45 plus of hands-on lab to understand NSX networking security feature and its key capabilities. It will also help you to prepare yourself for not only VCP-NV, but also help you to prepare for VCIX-NV kind of advanced certification. Our mentors are having an industry experience of more than 15 years, and there are mentors who are having more than 10 years of experience on NSX technology, and they do hold all of the NSX certification. At GoVMlab, you also get flexibility to have one-on-one in-person doubt clarification session with our NSX mentor, and this program certainly going to help you for preparing for NSX job interviews as well. Now here we have captured some of the feedback from our learners. You can check out these feedbacks on our LinkedIn page, and as you could see that we have received 5-star rating from all of the advanced. We have received a very good reviews and feedback from our learners. Now we do have captured some of the feedback from our learners for your reference. If you want to check it out, you can check out our LinkedIn page and you can find all of the learners reviews and what are they talking about GoVMlab NSX Zero to Hero deep dive program, as you could see that. And here we do have captured some of the feedback what we have received from our learners on our personal WhatsApp chat as well. So what are you waiting for? If you are looking for a very in-depth detailed learning program about VMware NSX technology, and you do have a passion to become VMware NSX-t expert, then reach out to us on this given phone number. You can also drop us email on the given email ID, or you can browse our website as well. So reach out to GoVMlab team and transition your reach out to GoVMlab. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with GoVMlab. So what are you waiting for? Start your NSX-t journey with GoVMlab today itself. Thank you.